The shadow in the dormitory. That year, Lisa was a student from the countryside, just starting her first year at a large university in the city. Due to her family's financial situation, she chose to stay in the school's dormitory to save money. The dormitory was located in a secluded corner of the campus, built long ago, and had a somewhat eerie, rundown atmosphere. Lisa shared a 3-bed room, but there were only 2 occupants, her and a senior student named Hang. The 3rd bed, which was next to the window, was always empty and covered by a thick curtain that no one dared to open. Hang, being in her final year, was constantly busy with her studies, often leaving for classes early and returning late. As a result, Lisa frequently found herself alone in the room at night. One evening, when Hang hadn't returned yet, Lisa was preparing to sleep when she suddenly heard the faint sound of the door creaking as if someone was entering. Thinking it was Hang coming back, she sat up and looked towards the door, but it was still closed. An uneasy chill crept over her, but she brushed it off, convincing herself that it was probably just the wind or some noise from the hallway. However, the strange noises became more frequent. Sometimes, Lisa would hear soft footsteps shuffling around the room, but when she looked up, there was no one there. Each time this happened, her eyes would drift towards the empty bed by the window, where the curtain remained drawn, casting a shadow over the corner. There was something about that bed that made Lisa uneasy, but she avoided looking directly at it for too long. One night, while Hang was away, Lisa decided to sleep early, hoping to ignore the unsettling atmosphere. In the middle of the night, she was startled awake by a long, drawn-out sigh coming from right beside her bed. Her body froze, paralyzed by fear. She could feel something or someone standing right next to her, the air growing cold around her. Mai didn't dare open her eyes, but the sound of the sighing grew louder, closer. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she noticed the curtain at the window bed slowly being pulled back. On the bed, there was now a shadowy figure sitting, its back turned towards her. Long hair cascaded down its shoulders, and the figure remained utterly still. Lisa's heart pounded in her chest as she lay there, too terrified to move. Mustering up the courage, she tried to take a closer look. Just as the shadow began to turn its head towards her, she shot up, flicked on the light, and screamed. The room was empty again. Everything had vanished in an instant. Hang returned at that very moment to find Mai trembling, her face pale with fear. Lisa recounted the entire incident, but Hang laughed it off, telling her it was probably just a bad dream. Still, Lisa couldn't shake the overwhelming dread that clung to her. The following day, during a casual conversation with the dorm's security guard, Lisa mentioned the empty bed in her room. The guard gave her a long, hard look before sighing deeply and explaining. A few years ago, a girl stayed in that bed. She was a diligent student, but the pressure got to her and she fell into a deep depression. One day, they found her. She had hanged herself right by the window. Lisa felt an icy chill run down her spine as she listened. From that moment on, she avoided being alone in the room whenever she could. Even though nothing had happened since, every night as she walked into that dim old room, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was still watching her from the shadowy corner of that empty bed.